When it comes to the Pokemon TCG Pocket metagame, plenty of decks are seeing their shine in this format, but one stands above all else, and that is the Mewtwo EX deck. Mewtwo EX is something that the rest of these decks do not have. They have a strong basic EX Pokemon that has incredible attacks and can get mana ramped by support cards. Also, being that it's a basic Pokemon, this card becomes easily searchable with cards like Pokeball. In today's video, we're going to be jumping into each individual card you see in the Mewtwo and the variants that you see that play it, and at the end of the video, you'll see a deck list that I recommend that you build for yourself. But if you all enjoy this type of content, make sure to leave a like on this video, and make sure you subscribe to see more. But without further ado, we're going to jump right into this video. Of course, to start this off, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, the card that the video is completely about, and that's the Mewtwo EX. This is a basic psychic Pokemon with 150 HP, and it has a retreat cost of 2 and a plus 20 weakness to darkness. It has the ability Psychic Sphere, which takes 1 psychic energy and 1 colorless energy, and it does 50 damage. And it then has the Side Drive for 150 damage that says discard 2 psychic energy from this Pokemon. Again, you're going to be taking 2 psychic energy and 2 colorless energy to do this, but it is 150 total damage that you're going to be doing to an individual Pokemon, which is an insane amount of attack. It will kill a Mewtwo itself. The reason why this is so good is because you get easily mana ramped, and then with a top tier of 150 HP and the ability for it to be such a quick setup, this card in itself has shown to be the best card in Pokemon TCG Pocket. But obviously, it does not do this by itself. Yeah, you need another card to help you out with this deck, and the card that people are going towards is the card that's going to mana ramp everything and make the deck 10 times faster, and that's the Gardevoir line. Now, if we talk about the Roltz or the Kirlia, there's not really much to talk about there. Roltz is a psychic Pokemon with 60 HP, the attack Ram, and then Kirlia is another psychic with an 80 HP and the attack Smack for 30 damage. Both of these, again, they're not anything to write home about, but Gardevoir itself is the Pokemon that really puts this deck on the map, being that it has the ability Psy Shadow. Psy Shadow has the effect that once during your turn, you can take 1 psychic energy from your energy zone and attach it to the psychic Pokemon in your active zone. So this is able to speed up your Mewtwo EX, getting it to Psychic Sphere as fast as possible, and then also Side Drive itself, being that you have to discard the 2 psychic energy off of it. This actually kind of facilitates for your psychic energy for the turn for it. Gardevoir itself is as good as what it is because of it being an ability and not an attack. Not only is it not a supporter, meaning that you shut off supporters for the turn like Misty, but also you're not using it like an attack such as Moltres, being able to put energy onto the bench Pokemon whenever it declares an attack. It can just from the bench ramp your Mewtwo, and because of that it makes it the best ramp Pokemon in the game. Other Pokemon that we're seeing being played in Mewtwo variants is Baby Mewtwo, or the non-EX Mewtwo. Now, this Pokemon has a bunch of different utilities in the Mewtwo deck itself. For one, it can tank everything in the early game, kind of like a Kangaskhan, but it has an acceptable retreat cost. And so what it does is it just kind of like walls out the opponent while you're able to ramp up your actual Mewtwo. It's also doing a base 120 power with its ability Power Blast, and it only trades for 1 point. So all in all, this is a good Pokemon that people are starting to experiment with, and a lot of top contending decks are actually playing this at 1 copy. And then the last Pokemon we're starting to see experimentation with in the competitive level is Jinx, an 80 HP Psychic Pokemon with the attack Psychic, which is a Psychic and a colorless to use that does 30 base damage but gets an additional 20 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Essentially, it's a boneless Alakazam. So it's seeing a lot of play right now for specific decks such as like Charizard or Venusaur, and that in itself is a good reason to have this anti-meta threat in your deck. A supporter card that's worth mentioning in this deck is actually going to be Giovanni. Giovanni is a generic supporter that we see play in many decks, but I think it has its own niche in Mewtwo in general. Giovanni plays a key role in maximizing the power of Psychic Sphere, and by using Giovanni to boost your Psychic Sphere's damage to 60, you can consistently knock out the most basic Pokemon in just 1 hit. This makes Giovanni an essential tool for keeping the pressure on your opponent and controlling the board in the early game. And the most important item you'll be playing in this deck is going to be your Pokeball, because it's able to actually search out your Rolts and even your Mewtwo EX, being that it is a basic Pokemon. So you're going to want to max out Pokeball at 2 copies no matter what list you're playing for yourself. The deck list you see on the screen here is from PokemonZone.com, and it's the deck list that I recommend you play. It is playing 2 of the Mewtwo EX, 2 Rolts, 2 Kirlia, and 2 Gardevoir. We're playing 2 of the Pokeball, 2 Potion, 2 X-Speed, 2 Professor's Research, 2 Giovanni, 1 Sabrina, and 1 red card. You honestly don't need to play the 1 red card if you don't want to, if you want to maximize on Sabrina or vice versa. And that wraps up our look at this powerful deck. With Mewtwo EX leading the charge, Gardevoir providing essential energy support, and Giovanni routing out our key damage thresholds, this deck is all about precision and power. Mastering the timing of your setups and knowing when to strike will be the key to your success. Thanks for watching, and if you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. But until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye!